What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's a Friday. Listen, the show looks a little, you know, mixed around right now. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Show a little mixed around right now. Don't worry about that. I'm moving some stuff around, doing some setting up, doing some fixing, doing some lifting. You feel me? And so things they're looking a little different right now. But don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that, bro. Just know I'm gonna get it right. I'm John Brown, and this is the John Brown Podcast. I come to you every day, Monday through Friday. Today is at 10:10. Like I said, there was a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things in the way. A lot of fixing and moving and twisting. And so today's show was 5 minutes late. It won't be going forward. 10:05 is the start time as always. But let's get down to the simple. First and foremost, I am John Browner. Welcome to the John Browner Podcast. If you're new to this or if you're used to being here, the Sporting Tribune outlining, that's where we rock. That's where we rock. And so I would prefer to have it always here so you guys can see it, as opposed to it being not here so you guys can't see it. On the show today, there's something going on, and I think I know what's happening. I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to talk about the mixed Mendoza review. I'm going to talk about the other preseason game we saw last night between the Chargers and the 49ers. I'm going to talk about the Padres hosting the Twins tonight in Petco Park. And as the show goes, as the chat pack goes, I'm sure it'll be a lot of moving and kicking and punching. But we're here. We're here. We're here to do the show. We're here to communicate. We're here to love. So let's get started. As always, I ask that you guys subscribe to the show. Let me go over here. Let me go over here and check and make sure everything is. Let me check, make sure everything is everything. Let me see. Because I want to make sure. Okay, we're good on there. Hold on, I got one more place to check. Let me see. That is interesting. It's not showing up. Let me see. And it is too late to fix that. That's concerning. What this one is this one? This one. Let me see. What? That's weird. Okay, anyway. Got to continue the show anyway. I don't know what's going on with that. So, the show usually comes to you via Facebook, YouTube. I'm trying to buzzer today. Shout out to Buzzer. Buzzer's hopping on with us. Buzzer's going to be working with us going forward. I'm trying. See, now I'm getting emails. I'm getting emails about the other half of the show not showing up. Okay, so just so we're all clear, the show appears to not be showing up on YouTube, and that's the thing I'm trying to fix right now, because I have a ton of people who watch this show via YouTube, and I want to make sure that they can see the show. And the fact that it is not connected. See, this is how we do things in the open here. There's nothing to hide here. Y'all know how we get down. This is the show. So yeah, I need to connect that somehow. And it's not connecting. So but anyway, on the show today, something very particular, something very straightforward. It's going good, Ava. I want to have a conversation about something that I'm seeing that you may not be seeing. And I know that's happening, that you may not know that's happening. But let's start here. Have you noticed there's a lot of NBA teams going up for sale? Have you noticed that? Have you caught on to see what is happening with the NBA? First, Mark Walters sold in a very strange way and fashion Then you saw what happened with the Timberwolves today in a very strange fashion. The Atlanta Falcons sold 15% of their team out of nowhere. You already know what's happening with the Portland Trailblazers. And by the way, the Minnesota Timberwolves just got bought by an A-Rod-led group, which now seems to be selling someone is becoming the majority owner. So it appears that something is not right within the winds of the NBA. Now, I don't know if this is all related to Mark Walters, because these equity groups, these venture capitalists, they own more than one team. You are allowed by NBA guidelines to own a small portion of different teams. And that's what's happening with the Minnesota Timberwolves. A small portion guy is making him a big portion guy. The Lakers sold to Bob Iger and Josh Kushner. You guys all know that. But Josh Kushner and Bob Iger's not worth $13 billion. So I believe that everything that you're seeing when it comes to all these NBA teams being sold, I believe that this is somehow in cahoots with what's happening with Mark Walters. I'm not Pablo Torre on this thing yet, but I believe that we are going to get there. I can't Pablo Torre this thing for show, but we're going to get there because something's not right. This is a weird time for everyone to be not selling, but abandoning ship. Now, we know why Mark Walters is doing this. Mark Walters is under investigation, not criminally charged with anything, but completely under investigation. So when you're selling all your properties, it looks like you gained them in a very weird and illegal way, allegedly. Speculation, as I like to say. But in these other places, what's going on with the Timberwolves? What's going on with the Atlanta Falcons? We know Arthur Blank don't need no money. They got a brand new stadium. And Arthur Blank is one of these owners, like, you know where his money comes from. Arthur Blank's line of cash is very easy to follow. Why he's selling his 15%? Why is 15% of the stake being sold for the Atlanta Falcons? Why are the Timberwolves changing hands? Why is well, again, we know why Mark Walter is selling. He's doing a billionaire garage sales, I like to call it. Come get this stuff. When the Dodgers become available, if the Dodgers become available, but the amount of money that Mark Walters owes, it appears the Dodgers will become available. Because I don't know how he gets to the 20 billion number. So as we're watching this, something doesn't feel right. Can you feel what's in the air? Do you feel the unease that is being created by all this? Because I see it. I don't know if you see it, but I see it. I see the unease that all this has created, and I really don't know what to make of it. I really don't know what to think of it, other than something's not right. We know in the Mark Walters situation, something's not right. What's happening with the Falcons may be on the up and up. Again, we know Arthur Blank's got money, and we know where Arthur Blank's money comes from. What's that? Let me look this business. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I get this guy's name right. Hold on, Minnesota. I'm getting so many emails about the show not connecting. People are not people mad. So the group that A-Rod belonged to was the Mark Lowry group, if I remember correctly. They're selling their controlling stake I got this blocker thing in my way. Get out of here. Show. Yeah. Oh my God. I just want the story, dude. I just want the story. So the Mark Walters Group, Mark Lowry, is selling his controlling interest. There we go. Minnesota Timberwolves co-owner Mark Lowry agrees to sell controlling interest in franchise. This is the guy who A-Rod partnered with, who they went through the mud, and I mean through the mud to sell this team away from Glenn Taylor, the Minnesota Timberwolves' previous owner. If you remember correctly, the Timberwolves were owned by Glenn Taylor, who sold them to A-Rod's group and Mark Lowry. And at that time, the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards got really good. I think they made it to the Western Conference Finals. And then Glenn Taylor got cold feet. And then the A-Rod group had to sue him for full control. And now they're like, never mind. Never mind. So, did American businessman Mark Stad has completed a deal to become the controlling largest shareholder of the NBA's Minnesota Timberwolves and WNBA's Minnesota Lynx by buying the majority of the co-owner Mark Lowry's stake at $4.5 billion evaluation. Lowry will retain a minority investment in the teams, while co-owner Alex Rodriguez has decided to increase his equity percentages, sources say. It's not known how much of both teams each will own after the sale is complete. Lowry decided to take a step back from his co-owner and co-chair role in order to focus on the IPO push for his food tech company, the Wonder Group. Sure, buddy. I bet you did. None of this is adding up. I'm sorry. I really am. None of this is adding up to me. I don't know if anybody's done anything illegal. I don't. I can't tell you they did. I can't tell you they didn't. But I can tell you I don't care. I don't like how this looks. I can tell you right now, I don't like how this looks. By the way, shout out to all our people over at Buzzer. I don't like how this looks. This is not good. So if you can feel what I can feel, then you can feel that something's not right about this. You ain't just out here selling like this. People don't sell these assets to focus on another IPO. I know a lie when I read one. Lowry decided to take a step back from his co-owner and co-chair role in order to focus on the IPO push for his food tech company. Here's the deal. You're selling the stake. What do they need Mark Lowry to do on the Minnesota Timberwolves? Buddy, you're not scouting overseas. You're not in college games. You're not breaking down video. Somebody else runs advertising. Somebody else runs social media. Somebody else runs scouting. Somebody else is doing coaching. Somebody else is signing players. What are you doing other than cutting checks? That's a lie. See, you got to be able to read between the lines when people lie to you in sports. This is a quote. This is a lie. Lowry decided to step, and this is courtesy of ESPN Shams Charania, so you know it's a lie. Lowry decided to take a step back from his co-owner and co-chair role in order to focus on the IPO push for his food company. So he's about to basically have something go public, and he's telling you, not only can I not pay any more attention to what's happening to the Timberwolves, Don't even call me. I'm a businessman. I own multiple businesses. I own enough businesses that I accumulated so much wealth, I was able to purchase the Minnesota Timberwolves. And when I purchased the Minnesota Timberwolves, I didn't have enough free time and additional money to fight Glenn Taylor in court for almost a year to win the full custody of the team. Like at one point, the Mark Lowry A-Rod group were going to travel, they were going to road games, and Glenn Taylor was going to home games. They were not seen in the same gym at the same time. This is how nasty this whole thing was. And now you're telling me, after fighting tooth and nail to acquire this asset, you're now going to sell off your say in the asset, not completely, but enough that no one will care what you think now, because you want to focus on an IPO you're about to launch. Buddy, I know a lie when the NBA owners they don't pay attention to anything. They do a meeting once a year, and in this meeting, maybe once or twice a year, there's a conference call once a month where someone else sits in. You can literally go, hey, man, I need 30 minutes. Sit in a room, put it on speaker, dibble-dabble through your computer while you listen to the concerns of other owners. He ain't got that much time. He ain't got 30 minutes out of his day once a month. It's the offseason. What kind of business the Timberwolves doing? That you need to sell your stake in the team to focus on that stinks. That stinks. I'm calling bullshit on that. The lie is always between the line. The lie is always between the line. Now, I hope from a health perspective that Mark Lowry is healthy. I hope that his family is healthy. And I hope this isn't something where he's got, some private things going on that he wants to take care of. I certainly hope it is not that. But come on, dog. You got to tell better lies. You got too much money to be telling these poor lies. I'm John Brown. This is the John Brown Podcast, man, courtesy of the Sporting Tribune. I need you guys to head over to YouTube and subscribe to the podcast. We are on our way to 500 subscribers. And as we continue to roll, you're a part of it. Be a part of this. I promise you the show won't be this shaky to start ever again. This is totally on me. I dropped the ball on this. This will get fixed. But again, this is the first day available via the YouTube Sporting Tribune page, and it should have been available courtesy of my YouTube page, but something's not. The wires aren't wiring. So, but again, I'll get to the bottom of that. Apologize to my YouTube followers. Appreciate y'all. Y'all been day ones, man. So the fact that this got, crossed up, it's on me. I'm upset about it, but we'll get there. On the other side, Fernando Mendoza. Last night's NFL action was a very weird mixed bag. Because if you look at the way last night's games went, I thought that what you saw from Fernando Mendoza, although mixed, very productive. I don't care what Aiden O'Connell did. Fernando Mendoza's night, going 8 for 15 for 86 yards with the interception, which was a doozy of a pick six. I think there's some things in the preseason that you need to see, and I thought what I needed to see is Fernando Mendoza bounce back from the pick six. And ironically, the pick six is why he needs to be the starter. Because you got to get these out the way ASAP. The rhythm was off, the pocket wasn't settled, and the pass that went for the pick six after moving the ball down the field was just a bad pass. The ball was thrown behind the receiver. He didn't get enough time to adjust. Boom, there you go. Bob's your uncle, as they say in England. Pick six to the house. And don't get me wrong, the Texans were ready. The Texans defense was ready to play. But the pick six thrown by Mendoza is the number one reason why I am always screaming, you got to play these guys, because he will learn from that. And if you think Kirk Cousins throwing a pick six in game one is somehow going to help Fernando Mendoza, you're wrong. The way Fernando Mendoza bounced back from the interception is why he should be the starter. I felt like last night's game against a really good defense, although mostly backups, but against a real legit, some starters were playing. I thought Fernando Mendoza had a command, had an understanding for the offense, not a command, an understanding for the offense. He knew where he wanted to go with the ball. Like the pick six it was just late. It's going to happen. He's got to get tuned in with the wideouts. He's got to get tuned in with the routes a little bit better in game action. And the longer you delay that, the longer it's going to take to get to the bottom of this. I honestly thought Fernando Mendoza played well last night, even with the interception, even with the pick six, because with the pick six, you get to see how he bounces back. I don't think it phased him. He played 5 series, in all 5 series. Again, I thought he had a real understanding for the offense, and that's what I'm concerned about right now. The pick six is irrelevant. And now if he didn't throw 3 pick sixes, we'd have had a different conversation. But he is better than Kirk Cousins. Fernando Mendoza is ready for the big time. Every snap that you give to Kirk Cousins on the first team reps in practice is a step delaying the inevitable, which is Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza is going to play. I don't understand why you could take a guy, number one, if he's not ready to play. This is not Jamarcus Russell. You took this guy number one after going undefeated to win a national championship in Indiana, where they were running a pro-style offense in the Big Ten, playing against guys who are in the NFL. The idea that he hasn't been under center, that's what the graduation is about. That's where the work is. Get him under center and keep the offense comfortable for him until he can get under center. That's the coach's job. And listen, Clint Kubiak is not lazy. Clint Kubiak is a good coach. I like what I think the Raiders are going to be able to do. But man, listen, if you don't play Fernando Mendoza, what are you doing? What are you getting out of Kirk Cousins playing? So last night it was a little bit of mixed Mendoza. At the end of the day, I like what I saw. But for the most part, thumbs up. Pass another test. How does he handle failure? How does he handle adversity? Check. Fernando Mendoza came through last night, fought through the adversity of the pick six, came back. You saw him rally the guys. Hey, that's on me. Boom, here we go. So I like what I saw. I do. I really do. I like what I saw from Fernando Mendoza last night, and I'm expecting to see more of that going forward. The thing that was difficult for me to watch last night was the Chargers 49ers game. I don't think Trey Lance has a place in the NFL. I don't. I don't think Trey Lance has a place in the NFL. I thought DJ, I mean, obviously, Herbert was going to give you nothing. You were going to get nothing really from the starters. And after the starting center being out for the year, you were really going to get nothing from the starters in the offensive line. At this point, you got to bubble wrap them to at least get these guys to week one, especially when you got your bookend tackles missed the majority of the year last year with season-ending injuries. I don't need them out here for any reason whatsoever. We will drill this in camp until we get it before I let y'all go out there on that field and get hurt in the preseason game if I'm Jim Harbaugh. If I'm Mike McDaniel, not happening. So the fact that Justin Herbert got out there for, I think it was 2 attempts for 1 series, I'm cool with that. Next game against the Rams, same thing. Cool with me. I'm cool with that. I don't need to see no more. I know what I'm going to get from Justin Herbert. I need to see what I'm going to get from Trey Lance as a backup. I need to see what I'm going to get from DJ, I can't pronounce that, who had a better night. Granted, he played against guys who will be, collecting shopping carts at Costco in about a week. But nonetheless, you can only play against the people on the field, dog. And I thought he did a good job. I thought that the touchdown at the end of the game was too late in the end of the game to really separate him from what we saw from Trey Lance. Trey Lance's ability to use his feet. I don't want to see that in the preseason. I want to see you execute the offense. The fact that it broke down and you were able to run, you could literally do that in almost every play. These are not schemes that you're seeing on the defensive side of the ball that you're going to see in a regular season. This is just drop back, fight that thing. Drop back pass. Drop back, find your man. The fact that he was out there scrambling when he got under pressure, that didn't impress me. That didn't impress me. He had a good game on the ground. He kept the drives going a couple of times, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to watch him throw the ball. And I thought DJ did a better job at throwing the ball last night. Trey Lance threw some what I like to call murder balls. I'm talking about guys just taking it in the back. Bang. Just rolled over in pain. What's his Marsdale? What is his name? A couple of those passes he threw last night that got this kid drilled in the back were unforgivable. Lambert Smith caught a pass from Trey Lance last night. Hospital ball. Where my ambulance sound? Did I put my ambulance sound in here? Let me put my ambulance sound in here. Where my siren at? Hold on. Let me add my siren. Bro, listen. Hospital ball. Hospital ball. Right in the back. Boom. Now he walked off. To his credit, Lambert Smith walked off. But that's one of those he gonna cry in the car situations. Because as soon as they cut to him on the sideline, buddy, he was curled up in the fetal position. Back just shutting down. Trey Lance's ball placement last night was rough. He got a couple guys jacked up. A couple guys made the team last night because of the way Trey Lance was throwing those balls because the 49ers were hitting. The Trey Lance were putting his teammates on tees last night. Guys were getting cracked out there. So I don't, you know. I just think the situation with Trey Lance, I think Trey Lance is going to be out the league, man. I really does. And Trey Lance brings forth another COVID quarterback. Outside of Trevor Lawrence, a lot of these guys flamed out, whether it be Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. A lot of these guys. I wish I had a sound for. What's it when the balloon goes out there? So I need to see more DJ, because if DJ can't carry it either, then we got to look somewhere else. Chargers are going to have to look somewhere else, man. But again, back from the beginning, I thought Fernando Mendoza played well. I don't really have any commentary on the 49ers. They did what they should have done. Defense was great. You had Mac Jones and a guy who knows the system. There's the 49ers in-house. Everybody knows what they're going to do. Everyone knows where they need to be. You've got your wide receivers. You've got your offensive line. You've got your starting quarterback. You got your backup quarterback. You got your running back. You got your backup running back. The 49ers they know who they are. Their pieces are set. I think the Raiders know who they are. I think, unfortunately, their pieces are set because I do believe that they are going to start Kirk Cousins. They're set at tight end. They're set at running back. They're set at wide receiver. I don't necessarily, the talent doesn't scare me, but nor does the Chargers' talent at wide receiver scare me. They're not. The Chargers are not set at all at wide receiver. They're set at tight end. They're set at offensive line. Obviously, they're set at quarterback. They're set at running back. Their wide receiver room today feels very underwhelming. The Raiders' wide receiver room feels very underwhelming. These are just the teams who played last night. The 49ers wide receiver room, bringing back Debo, they seem stable. Not great. They seem stable because Ricky Pearsall out again for the year. I was never really a fan of the Texans wide receiver room to begin with, but it's back. It's back. I mean, they did lose a guy for the season, but most of the guys who they were missing last year are back, and they're ready to go. So you guys got guys fighting for jobs, and last night, if you ask me, wait, JT, what's his punter's name? J.K. Scott. Let me, and before I get out of here, because it's Friday, I want to let y'all get down to whatever y'all got to do. J.K. Scott. Let me take this down so people can know what this was, so they can know it was me. Bruh. J.K. Scott, what are you doing exactly? J.K. Scott, are you playing football, bruh? You do know this ain't rugby, bruh. This ain't rugby, bruh. Tell me why I look up and I don't see J.K. Scott trying to make a tackle. J.K. Scott, that alone, I'm surprised Harbaugh still got you around, dog. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't gonna even front. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm surprised they still got you around, big dog. You had 8 punts last night. I don't care how them punts went. I can find me another punter, man. If you ain't gonna even try to tackle. J.K. Scott, you ain't gonna even try to tackle, dog. Listen, I cannot put that video up until we get the licensing with all this to do that. But man, listen. You got to be more careful, J.K. Scott. You got to try, dog. You got to try. Go look up J.K. Scott defense. J.K. Scott punt return. As a man, as a person who puts a helmet on to play football, J.K. Scott, boy, you should be embarrassed. You really should. J.K. Scott, boy, you should literally be embarrassed because that was not a good look, my friend. It was not a good look at all. Do better. Let's try this here. Let me see. Let me try this here. Let me try this here. Yeah. That'll work for now. There's a lot of moving parts today. So everybody who joined the show, I appreciate y'all. We're going to get out of here early because it's Friday. And I already did a show today, so. And I got some wires crossed up I need to get uncrossed so we can be ready by Monday. I'm John Browner. Subscribe to the show on YouTube, on the Sporting Tribune's YouTube. Subscribe to the Sporting Tribune. Like and follow on X. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace out.
Subscribe to the John Browner podcast on YouTube and download the podcast on iTunes. I know I don't look like him. Just go subscribe.